Today I'm going to teach you how to identify slope and y-intercept using the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form of an equation is y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope and the b represents the y-intercept. I'll explain what all that is in a few minutes. If they ask for the x-intercept, that's where the line hits the x-axis. Or if you're looking at an equation, you plug in when y equals 0. For the y-intercept, it's where the line hits the y. If you have an equation, it's when x equals 0. So hopefully you have all those notes down so we can move on. So here's an example. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. So by looking at the equation, y equals mx plus b, the coefficient here is -4. So your slope is -4. Your y-intercept is -2. Take the sign of the number before it. So now when we go to graph, I want to start in the y-intercept. My y-intercept is my y-axis. So I start in the middle. My y-intercept this time is -2. So I go down 2 and I put a dot. What does my slope tell me to do? It's -4 over 1, which means down 4, right 1. But you can see on my graph, I'm going to go off the graph. So I can switch that around and say that's 4 over -1. So now I can go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 1, and I'll still be on the same line because the line goes on forever in both directions. Okay, let's try the second one. The second one is not written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we have to put it in that form. Let me just make a quick graph down here. Okay, so I'm going to split the equation. I need to get y by itself. So we're going to add 5 and add 5. So now we have y equals 3 over 2x plus 5. So now my slope is 3 over 2, and my y-intercept is 5. So I'm going to start at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a dot. My slope says go up 3, right 2, but once again, I'm going off the graph. So I could say that's -3 over -2, because a negative divided by a negative is still a positive. So I can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 2, 1, 2. And there's my line. Let's try another one. Graph y equals -3x plus 3. Then identify the x-intercept. Well, let's say I didn't have a graph and I just needed to find the x-intercept. When you took notes before, you said to put a 0 in for the y. So let's do it mathematically. 0 equals -3x plus 3. And then we solve the equation to get x by itself. So -3, -3. So now I have -3 equals -3x divided by -3. So -3 divided by -3 is +1. So when I graph this equation, my x-intercept is at 1. So it should hit the x-axis at +1. Let's see if that happens. So I'm going to graph the equation, y equals -3x plus 3. So on my y-intercept, I'm going to start at 3. 1, 2, 3, and I put a dot. My slope is -3. So I could say it's -3 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, and then right 1. Look at that. My x-intercept is +1. Okay, the cost y in dollars of taking a taxi x miles is y equals 2.5x plus 2. graph the equation. I see a little bit of a problem. We can't graph 2.5. That's not in slope form. So 2.5 is really 2.5. But now we need an improper fraction. So we change that to 5/2. So now we have y equals 5 over 2x plus 2. Now I can graph that equation. My y-intercept is 2, so positive 2, I'm going to put a dot. And my slope tells me to go up 5, right 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And there's my next point, and I make my line. I hope this helped you understand about slope-intercept form. Have a great night.